Welcome back to Sports Federation TV. We're shifting our focus to something slightly different. We're talking about Lsen schools, something that some of us know very little about. Mr. Glenn, are you well?
I'm well. How are you doing?
Good, good. Damien, Bonaparte, you well?
I'm fantastic. Yourself?
Good, good, good. Glenn, let's start at the beginning. What does Lsen stand for?
Well, Lsen is the abbreviation for learners with special educational needs. And it's a whole variety of dispensations and backgrounds and barriers to learning, basically. So just to name a few, you have some of the resource schools like Wistanova, Young Creole, and Tafelberg School. And then you have the School of Skills, so Batavia, Westcliff, Florida, CAFTA, Mitchell's Plain School of Skills as well. And these schools are basically broken down or separated based on what the need of the child is. Okay. So a child with a more technical need or that needs to learn in a more practical manner would go to a school of skill, whereas your resource schools, they follow the mainstream curriculum and write the same matric exam as all other schools do.
Okay. Damien, how do you fit into this whole big picture?
Well, I am the coach for the Western Province under-16 team as well as the boys under-19 team. We just recently came back from Vereniging. We had a good tournament, and in July we attended our national games where the province did extremely well, where we lost out to Gauteng by a point, but we're still disputing that point. And yeah, we just came back and it was a success with regards to the tournament.
So other than the learning lack of ability, for want of a better understanding, that you play sport as well?
Yes.
Because that's the misperception that because you have a learning disability, you battle to play sport. But that's part of what you do. That makes life exciting for you guys. How big is the sports sector within the Lsen fraternity?
Look, the Lsen, you know, as in the mainstream sector, it's basically run by the teachers. So if the teacher has a passion for football, he'll run with football. Okay. If it's chess, run with chess. Cross country, we have cross country. There's cricket, there's rugby. Basically, any sport that you would find in a mainstream school, you'll find at an Lsen school as well. I think we understand that all kids basically have the same needs as far as, you know, being accepted, being part of a team. Yeah, so it's a whole variety of sport basically that you'll find in the Lsen sector.
Damien, football is the mother sport of what most people do. How prevalent is football within your team and your group of schools?
It's very, very important. I think it's the number one, like you said. You know, if I can just go sidetrack a bit, you know, when you're coaching these kids, it's a real honor, first and foremost, because you don't know the backgrounds of the circumstances where they come from, and you could be their last hope. So when you are coaching them, you build up a good relationship with them. And football is the only thing really that can assist you with regards to just them slowly but surely getting out to that and knowing that there is hope for them at the end of the day.
Glenn, I mean, that's an integral part of coaching.
Absolutely, yes. And maybe just to mention, because your question was about how big is soccer in the Lsen schools. I'm also the chairperson of Western Province Lsen Soccer. And we have 22 teams that actually play in our league, from under 14 all the way to under 19, girls and boys. And obviously the coaching aspect, you know, I think our youth, they're constantly looking for mentors, looking for role models. And that is why the coaches is so important as far as our kids are concerned. Many of the kids come from backgrounds where there aren't good role models. And that is where we actually ask our teachers to actually step up and our coaches to step up and actually to be those role models, absolutely. Yeah.
Most of the schools have facilities where you can play football. Or are there schools that don't have facilities? How do you manage those kinds of scenarios?
Basically, we have a match and results officer who basically draws up your fixtures like you'd find in the mainstream schools. Those schools who do not have the facilities, they unfortunately have to play on an away basis. Yes. There are some schools that actually have a club close by, so they'll arrange their home matches to actually play at the club. Fortunately, many of our schools do have facilities that is up to standard, and we want to give our children the best. And if there is a school that actually doesn't have the facility, we actually want to, you know, we want to assist in order to actually give them the best. We don't want them to play on a dirt track. Many of them come from an area where basically that's all there is. But yet, when you play in a league, we want to give them the best, basically.
Damien, you mentioned that football has given some of these athletes hope. Give us one or two examples.
Well, a few years ago, we had a learner that was accused of murder, and there was a situation where they didn't want him to go on the tour. He participated in that tournament, and at that tournament, he basically turned his life around. He finished school, he went through college, he started working. So that's just an example of just how important sport really is with regards to just changing people's lives.
The child that he's actually speaking about was at a place of safekeeping. So one of the reasons that we're actually not classified as the MMH and Western
What is MMH?
Yeah, MMH is actually a bit of a derogatory term and something that I battle with.
Yeah.
It's mildly mentally handicapped.
Okay.
And when we go to national tournaments, that's actually where our kids would play under. However, Western Cape is the only province that actually plays not MMH only, but Lsen. So we've got the whole variety, the whole spectrum of children actually playing in Lsen. And that is why we actually refused to change our title to MMH. Because we're Lsen.
Yes.
We have deaf playing with us. We have place of safekeeping, youth care facilities, the schools of skills, and the resource centers that I've actually mentioned as well. So we actually don't want to actually change our logo or our name to MMH. Although the national tournaments are MMH, and I think Damien's going to speak about the national tournaments as well.
Tell us about the competition. How fierce was it? You lost to Gauteng on one point that you're still disputing.
It was extremely good tournament up in Durban. All provinces participated, everyone from under 14 right until under 19. We also had girls team participated where Glenn's team won the gold medal in the final up against Mpumalanga, and we lost to Mpumalanga in the finals of the boys under 19. The competition is very fierce because what happens, because we play each other on a regular basis, we know exactly what each province is going to bring to the party, the type of players, the coach, what he's going to bring as different dynamics, etc., etc. But it's next year, speaking of the tournament, next year we'll be hosting the national tournament for the first time.
Nice.
Girls and boys will be participating in the Western Cape. We're expecting 950 players, coaching staff, managers, and that whole number needs to be accommodated for food, etc., educational excursion. So we're looking forward to next year's tournament.
Where will it be?
We're still looking at potential venues in terms of where we're going to have them play and as well as logistics in terms of just accommodation. So everything is still in process.
What time of year will that be, Glenn?
It's during the October holiday.
Okay.
So basically, I think Damien is speaking about two different tournaments. The one where we had lost out, where the boys had lost out to Mpumalanga, and the girls actually won. That was the top school, the old top schools.
Okay.
It was the Winter Games, basically, which was held in Durban. The other tournament, which was at Vereniging, that was the MMH tournament.
Okay.
And that is where, for the last, we started in 2000, so the last 15 years, 16 years, it had only been boys. And next year, because it's in Western Cape and we lead as far as sports is concerned,
that's a given.
The girls will be participating as well.
Okay, that's exciting.
Absolutely, it's exciting. It's new times. We're hosting the NEC of SA Lsen weekend of the 18th and 19th. We will come down, we'll have a look at a few facilities, and then just give them a blueprint of what we'll be presenting as well.
If there's any potential sponsors out there who want to lend some support to the Lsen National Soccer Tournament next year, make contact with Glenn. How do they get in contact with you, Glenn?
You can contact me at Glenn Bertels at vistanova.co.za. I'm a teacher at Vistanova. Damien?
Damien Bonaparte at vistanova.co.za. I'm also an educator at Vistanova.
How difficult is it being an educator, or is it a passion that you've developed?
Do you know, if I could give you the stories of teaching children with Lsen, with Lsen needs, it's an absolute passion. It's not difficult at all. We don't struggle to get out of bed in the morning and go to work. The stories that we hear from our colleagues in other schools are completely different to what we experience. You have to have a passion for teaching. If you don't have a passion for teaching, teaching is not going to be fun. You're not going to, you're not going to want to do it. And I understand our colleagues in mainstream school actually why they find it so difficult. But definitely in the Lsen schools, we have to make it work, and we do.
Damien, do you find that in your class you have a variety of needs, or is it just Is it like a sausage factory? Everybody same needs go through the same thing.
No, it's totally different. Let me put it to you like this: one learner represents 4.
Okay.
So everyone is different, and it's a different approach. You as a teacher, you have to wear a mask for each child. It's not a walk in the park. I know Glenn said, but it's not, because it's a constant every single day.
Yeah.
And the other thing is this: they expect you to be like that after school as well. When it's your time to switch over, it's totally, they expect you to be like that.
Yes,
I'm like,
yes.
wow. But it's a labor of love, and I really enjoy it, man. I cannot complain about it at all.
Explain the explanation 1:4. I mean, how does that work? Where do you come on that ratio?
With regards to special needs kids, everyone says it's just special needs, but one special need kid is a representation of 4, just individuals, sane individuals,
Okay.
I can put it that way.
I think, I think, the classroom is completely different. If we don't have the big classrooms as you would have in
Yes.
the mainstream school, obviously. But if you have 15 children in your class, you basically need individual programs for 15 kids.
Okay.
Otherwise, we'd be running a sausage factory. Absolutely. So when he says 1:4, it's not just about marking 15 slips of paper. It's about marking diagnostically. It's about setting up different question papers. It's about having different dispensations for the testing. But yeah, it's a labor of love, absolutely.
Did you just become a teacher and you went to Twistanova, or did you have to go for special training?
You can be a mainstream teacher and start at Vistanova,
Okay.
and there is so much in-service training that actually happens. It's a requirement, and I think with dealing with special needs kids, it's expected.
Yep.
You know, we need to stay abreast of all the latest developments. I did go for training as well as lots of in-service training as well. Yeah.
Damon, we're coming to the end of the segment. Why would you continue coaching an Lsen school?
Passion, one word. I just love what I do. I love to see the joy it brings to them. I love to see them move from I can't to I can, or I'll try. Just to see the look on their faces, you know, even after a defeat or the win, they motivate each other. The boy that was sitting in the corner didn't say anything for the whole tour, for the training camp that we had. All of a sudden, he's vocal, he's motivating, he's encouraging. And when you just sit back and you see what's taking place in front of you, it's priceless.
Good. That's the power that sport has.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Gentlemen, thank you for all the hard work that you put in that most people don't see. It's appreciated.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
We've come to the end of the show. As you can see, passion drives sport, and sport drives us into overdrive in many aspects of what we do. Have an amazing weekend. Play hard, be safe. Catch our repeats tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock. Each segment will be on YouTube within the next 2 weeks. If you're playing sport, give it your best. See you Friday, 9 o'clock. Cheers.